how can beginners manage aggression among cichlids in a community tank?
The first thing is understanding that there's different types of aggression. There's breeding aggression, territorial aggression, there's hierarchical aggression. You have a lot of cichlids that will establish hierarchy. So you'll have like a dominant male, maybe a dominant female, depending on what the sexes are that you have in the tank. So you have to understand that first, know what fish you have. So if you have, if you've got a whole tank full of male fish, then they're probably going to be a little bit more aggressive. For territorial aggression standpoint, some people say, well, to avoid territorial aggression is you don't allow them to establish territories. One of the easiest ways to do that is to limit what you have in the tank, because when they establish territories, fish will often use certain markers. So if you've got a cave in there, or you've got a set of plants over in the corner, or a set of rocks over here, they'll use those as markers to help define their territory. So the fewer of those you have, the less markers they have to define the territory. So that's one way. Another way is often used, especially in the cichlid, to distribute the aggression. You do that by having multiple cichlids in the tank. So instead of having just one of a species, have like 10. That way, no one fish gets picked on, because the aggression, if there's a dominant male, he'll spread his aggression out amongst the rest of the cichlids. So if there's not one, if you end up in the tank and you have two males, usually the dominant male will establish itself and will, depending on the size of the tank, will mercilessly abuse the lower ranking fish. So in community tanks, it's probably more about knowing what the sex of the fish are that you get. So if you get females are generally less aggressive. That is until they lay eggs. So if you do have a breeding pair, or you get multiple sexes of the same species, they'll kill other fish. So some of the ways, just overcrowd them. Just have a whole bunch of them so that nobody can establish anything. Another one is what we call sight lines. So you want to break up sight lines, especially if it's a larger tank. If you're in a smaller tank, like say a 10 or a 20 gallon long, you want to put some plants in there and some rocks or something. Make it a little bit more difficult for one species to see the other on the other side. They know they're there because chemically they're aware that there's other fish in there, so forth. But if you break up those sight lines, you can sort of help mitigate the aggression.